the restart zone and powers it down. Edward Sanchez gets a great start, though, going into turn 1.
Oh, and there's someone spinning. Who was that? I think that was... Oh, I wish I knew who that was. That looks... I can't quite tell from this camera angle, but they spun, collected someone as they were spinning. Field piles into them. That is... I'm surprised that wreck wasn't even bigger than it was. That outside line, higher banking working. Oh, Munoz makes contact with Matthew Nordberg coming off the corner. I think Munoz just came up, wasn't expecting Nordberg to get that run. Jason Wallet hits Kelton Quick. Jake Cummings hits Munoz, gets collected into Jared Kaler, collected into Schulenberger, Ricky Paz, Drew Williams, all involved in that. That's most of my teammates at Orange Wheeler Racing, but Clint Halterman manages to get through on the bottom, as does Nick Henley.
Start finish line there, but Jake sends it immediately down low, and unfortunately it's probably, I mean, he wouldn't have fared much better on the top line. He's Esteban Munoz completely sideways. Jake Cummings can't really go anywhere as he slides into that back corner panel of the FIU machine and just absolutely just obliterates that front end. Doesn't, nothing terminal, thankfully, for a lot of these guys, but definitely, repairs are hard to come by when it comes to Bristol, just because the pace laps are so short and everyone has to get, back onto the track if they want to stay on the lead lap. It looks like we're ready to go back to green flag as Edward Sanchez. Huge jump again. We don't have any time to think here as everyone's back racing.
Look at the outside line. Oh, my goodness. I mean, the pace laps are so short here as people are already smacking the wall of 1 and 2. Edward is gone. Muhammad Ali rips the high side. Clears Reese Bayham.
And another caution comes out here. Another one bites the dust here. We talked about it pre-race. It's a survival of the fittest here in the Coliseum, and it doesn't. Oh, I think that's Robbie Hotchkiss.
32. That would be Hotchkiss.
He's sideways on the apron on the backstretch, so a lot going on so far in the first 8 laps of this, short track. Comparatively, you got 14 seconds really to go around this track during the green flag run, so there's not a lot of time for us to even formulate a sentence. Right alongside and right by the 12, and now it looks like these top about 10 are single file trying to run the same pace, same line, and keep it consistent. As we've seen 2 cautions in the first 10 laps, and here I say go again, 3rd caution of the day.
Oh, that's Ethan Decatur. That's a massive pileup on the front straight. Ethan Decatur was involved. I think the number 4 car of Jacob Martin was involved. As we look at Ethan Decatur there, Nick Stockner's crab walking. That's extremely unfortunate for his home race, as these guys who are involved in the wreck try to get it turned around as the leaders come through.
St. Clair currently, obviously single file as it stands there. Oh, the Stockner's already around. Oh, Nick
might
Henley.
Have been a Nick solo wreck. That
Nick
might
Henley
have been a Stockner solo wreck. If we've got time, I'd love to see what happened to Nick Stockner. That's the field. Ooh. Brennan Lyman helps Nick out. Nick is not going to be happy about that as he gets piled into by half the field practically. Yeah, Brennan Lyman, 56 car. Second is hard to do, I'll admit. It's a lot easier if you've got triples here as we ride on board with Keegan Kalick. Another caution. Curious where this happened. I think we're gonna... Yeah, it looks like Caleb Winslow down there on the inside. I think we're just getting the usual CiL short track phenomenon of lots of cautions early. People take themselves out as that right front on... Ooh, yeah, Caleb Winslow's right front is gone.
Take a look back. Ooh.
Caleb Winslow's self-spin, maybe? Yeah, self-spin coming out of turn 2. Loses it, holds the brakes, nearly collects Brandon Schulenberger, skims Brennan Lyman, Kelton Quick slams into him, Drew Williams slams into him, Nathaniel Crone, top side, gets involved, Jake Cummings beneath manages to skirt by. It's been a tough day for Drew Williams. I think he's been involved in 2 out of the 4 cautions so far. Yeah, just loses it on his own there, Caleb Winslow.
Oh, okay, yeah, we're looking back here at the pass for second. Lucas Moody using that outside line, but able to keep the momentum, get to the inside
Wow.
of the 519, do a little switcheroo down, going into 3, able to keep enough momentum to just slide right up in front of the 519. The 519 can't really do anything about that. Obviously, he could have tried to go back to that lower line, but he definitely did not have the momentum to try and do anything, and probably would have lost out on third, which he's currently battling with Reese Bayhem for.
As they're side by side, coming out of turn 4. That was a great move by Lucas Moody. I don't know if I've ever seen an over-under work at Bristol. Reese Bayhem clears Zachary DeWale. Looks back to the inside. Reese misses it just a hair. They're going to keep running in the order they are. As a little farther back, Ricky Paz starts to get a little closer to Muhammad Ali. Not close enough to make a pass yet, as everybody, I do believe, is running single file on that bottom to a lane off the bottom. Daniel Nanny is right on the bumper of Matthew Nordberg for 10th. His charge through the field has stalled a little bit as Ricky Paz looks to the inside of Elif. Daniel Nanny stays in line with Matthew Nordberg, who is on the bumper of Clint Alterman up ahead from UNC Charlotte.
I mean, we've already seen it so far this race. It's hard to drive here at Bristol. You might think it's, just a little, like, seems like just everyone just, consistently driving it into each corner and keeping it, just fast-paced in and out of these turns. But, there's a lot of liftoff. Oh, you can see he gets the
Nanny makes contact with Nordberg. Hits him again. That's a penalty.
Oh.
That's... Yeah. I can already imagine how the stewards are going to look at that. I mean, Nanny tags Nordberg, and Nordberg almost saves it. I don't think that would have been anything in particular. Nordberg drives through the pace car. But, I mean, Nordberg gets loose. Nanny just...
are looking towards these fresh tires as an opportunity to try and pass some people on these early starts, or early parts of these restarts. As you see a battle now between Lucas Moody, Drew Williams, again going into turn 1. Drew Williams on the inside, Lucas Moody to the outside. Moody has that preferred line, and Drew's going to try to use the inside yet again. Doing a great job of keeping alongside and just inches away from that left corner panel of the 13, but the 13 is going to get the great run going into turn 3 to keep that 8th position. And, we're keeping it pretty close right now within this top 10, and, especially everyone up towards the front. Edward Sanchez only has a 0.2 of a second gap back to Reese Bayhem now.
Going back a bit more behind Daniel Nanny. Gets tagged by Ethan Decatur and just doesn't hold on to it. Tags Braden Schulenberger. Nick Stockner barely avoids. Jason Wallet gets collected. Brendan Lyman gets hit hard. Yeah, I'm not sure how the stewards are going to rule that one because Ethan Decatur came up a hair, but not much. I mean, there was still, I think, less than a car width to the bottom of the track.
I also feel like there might have been a little bit of net code, at least from what my eyes saw. We're looking here at Nick Stockner, who was also involved, that beautiful 124 paint scheme here tonight, and unfortunately has been in some of these early incidents, and you can see the 31 around and just it's enough. Oh, wow. He's able to save it. Never mind.
Excuse me, Roger Primo, the 88 car. These guys are having to weave their way through traffic. Jake Cummings, I imagine, is not all too pleased about getting lapped. Zach DeWale looks to the inside of Ricky Paz, doesn't quite get it done.
And I think Ricky Paz's car is a little upset as you can see Zach DeWale just powered to the outside. Gets a little loose coming out of 3 and keeping that of 2, and going into 3 now with that second place position. Ricky Paz, that was a quick battle. That was just Zachary DeWale absolutely powering it through the 19 machine from ECU. And now Connor Zabosian and Daniel Nanny potentially on the chopping block here to try and get past the ECU machine. Connor Zabosian going to take that look to the outside, up against that wall, trying to use every inch he can. The 19 closes the door, and now the 30 is going to look to the inside of the 72. The 72 is definitely not going to be pleased with that, but he did everything he could to try and get momentum, and 19 shut the door just like that, and now the 72 might have a little bit of a look, but right now it's a battle for 4th between Daniel Nanny and Connor Zabosian. Zabosian having that preferred line, but burning more tires. Everyone's up on that high side line.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. I'm going to sound like a broken record at this point, but Ricky Paz, I think, was running the high line a little bit more than Edward Sanchez was, and that just puts more load into the tire.
Behind the 26.
Well, I'll tell you what, Zach DeWale is getting real close to Edward Sanchez. I think this is the closest he's been in this stint of the race. Gets some overlap. He's there. DeWale is there. Edward Sanchez is going to have that outside line. Doyle tracks up a little bit, tries to late apex the corner. Sanchez shoots by him, has him cleared by 2 car lengths as they go to turn 1. A little farther back, Ricky Paz, Brendan Schulenberger, Reese Bayham are fighting hard. They are 2 by 2. Almost 3 wide. Ricky would have been real not smart if he did that. Zabosian and Reese Bayham are both in the wall, shooting sparks out into the air. Brendan Schulenberger trying to make that inside line work. I just don't know if it's going to. You have to come off that yellow line a bit just to keep up any sort of momentum. Gets cleared by Reese Bayham, decides to stick with that bottom line. Ricky Paz, here comes the late apex. Oh my gosh, I know he wanted to go 3 wide there so bad, thought better of it. 3 wide at Bristol, I don't know if that's advisable, even if there's only 2 to go. Brendan Schulenberger still holding firm on that inside lane. Zachary DeWale still behind Edward Sanchez as they go around some lapped cars.
You know, this
no real challenge for the lead just yet.
Yeah, these guys are all battling it out here from 5th on back. You can see Connor Zabosian getting the wall a little bit. That's going to be Ricky Paz. Well, Reese Bayham gets a whoa. Brandon Schoenberger gets a little bit punted into turn 3. He's able to save it and keep it in the middle of the track. He's still saving. Oh, Ricky Paz around. Oh, Jared Kaler gets collected.
Oh, no. Oh, that
huge
is
hit
a
for Brandon.
Huge wreck. And there goes Clint. Clint's dead. Brandon's dead. Brandon is not happy about that. Let me do a little bit of peeking into the WREL Racing server. Okay, Ricky Paz is not in that voice call, and I think that's probably for the better. I would love to get a replay of that, see more specifically what happened, but I imagine Brandon is not thrilled with Mr. Paz. Doyle going to go all the way to the high side. These guys are even on tires. Nose tire strategy is a factor here. Coming to the white flag. Doyle within a car length. Anani only 3/4 of a car length behind Doyle.
The 519 is going to look to the inside of the 26. The 26 is going to use the outside and able to take the win here at Bristol. Absolutely.
Edward is ecstatic. You know, the Super Speedway merchant
race here tonight. You can see the 26 going to burn it down here in the Coliseum, along with Lucas Moody. It looked like back there as well, joining in on the fun. But the 26 is going to cherish this one as you see Ricky Paz join in.
Yeah, those two are friends. You can see the similar number font. Lucas Moody as well, Vortex Racing teammate.
Through Edward Sanchez, your winner here tonight from Baruch College. Zachary DeWale finishing 2nd from St. Clair College. Ball State teammates and Daniel Nanny, Lucas Moody finished 3rd and 4th. Reese Bayham from Auburn University saw him all night tonight being fast. He finishes 5th. Ball State teammate here in Muhammad Ali finishes 6th. And Jason Wallet has a great finish after a lot of great battling throughout tonight. Finishes 7th from Drexel. Connor Zabosian from Kettering finishes 8th from Kettering. Keegan Cowlick from St. Clair College finishes 9th. And rounding out your top 10, Jared Kaler from UNC Charlotte.
Ricky Paz, after fighting up there early, falls back to 11th from East Carolina University. Andrew Burrell finishes 12th for Clemson University. Pretty solid result for him. Clint Halterman from UNC Charlotte finishes 13th, falls short of his expectations tonight. Jake Cummings does the same, falls a little bit short. Converse University for 14th, 2 laps down. Cade Corbin, my teammate, walks home with a top 15. Can't complain too terribly much from the University of Alabama in Huntsville, but he is still 3 laps down. Esteban Munoz, I think, caused that first yellow from Florida International University, finishes 16th. Michael James from Drexel University finishes 17th. Brandon Schulenberger, after getting involved with Ricky Paz late from Wingate University, finishes 18th. Wesley Shaw from Texas A&M Texarkana, 16 laps down, finishes 19th. And Carter Capini finishes 20th from Paul Smith College.
All of these guys here on out. A lot of incidents and obviously ending their night. Ethan Decatur from Valparaiso finishes 21st. Roger Primo from Paul Smith College finishes 22nd. Nick Stockner in that beautiful paint scheme finishes 23rd from Clemson University. And 24th, Ben Neller from Ball State University. And then 25th, Drew Williams from Clemson University. And then 26th, Logan Smith from Auburn University. And behind him, Brendan Lyman from the University of Colorado, Denver. Matthew Norberg in 28th from NC State. In 29th, Riley Perkins from New England College, and rounding out your top 30, Jack Wilson from the University of North Georgia.
And here we go with Jacob Martin from Belmont Abbey College, 176 laps down, finishes 31st. Daniel Crone, University of Toledo, 32nd. Kelton Quick, Ball State University, out early, finished 33rd. Caleb Winslow from East Carolina University, 34th. Nick Henley, Ball State teammate, not a great result from him compared to teammates, 35th. Grant Schiller from St. Clair College finishes 36th. Robbie Hotchkiss from New England Colleges comes home in 37th. Garrett Vighton, disappointing result for him for sure, from Arizona State University, finishes 38th. And Zachary Hill from University of North Georgia finishes 39th.